Mogul here. Hello and good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good. You're a healthcare support worker and you're part of the We Are NHS campaign. First of all, before we go into that, do you like fuchka?
I do. However, as we were saying before, I didn't even know it was called that because we say golgappe.
Right.
So, but I do. I just didn't know it was called that, but I'm glad I know now.
Okay, good. Well, anyway, look, there is a real recruitment drive at the moment in the NHS, right? We've seen in the pandemic, what the efforts the NHS staff have been making. And I guess, what we want to do is celebrate the extraordinary work of the NHS staff. And like you've said to me before, there's over 350 types of roles within the NHS. And I understand that there is this massive recruitment drive to inspire people to come into the NHS. Yeah. Now, you're a healthcare support worker. So tell me, what does a healthcare support worker do, and what is your role?
Yeah, so as like the role says, healthcare support worker. So, you're supporting your team. So we're obviously working alongside the nurses, the doctors, the dietitians, everyone in the hospital. You're working alongside them, and you're basically like a helping hand. But not only that, sometimes the role is extremely varied. So one day, you'll be running your own clinic. Patients coming in before their surgeries, you'll take their blood, so do their observations, etc. And then another day can be completely different. You'll be going around in the COVID wards, rolling the patients, repositioning them on their beds, helping with the physios. So it's an extremely varied role. But essentially, you're just an important part of the team, helping, making sure, we can give the patients the best care. And we all just work together to do that.
Wow, it seems very varied and quite rewarding. For you, what is the most rewarding part of your role?
I think the most rewarding part of the role is obviously, you are essentially, you're helping and giving so much support to these patients. And sometimes they'll let sometimes, at the end of a clinic, they'll say, we are so grateful for everything you do. And that means so much. And sometimes they won't tell you, but yourself, you've done so much to help them. And it makes you feel good. It makes you feel like you're doing something good for them, especially working, with a lot of, I'm working in the COVID wards. A lot of the patients are, of ethnic minorities. A lot of them are Asian. And it's just nice to know that you're doing something for, our community.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I imagine it to be also quite challenging because, to be honest, what you do has an impact on not just the patient, but the families of those individuals. So it's such an important role. Can I just so people have an understanding, if somebody wanted to get into a role like you're doing, how can they go about it?
Yeah, of course. So with the healthcare support worker, the amazing part about it is you don't need any qualifications apart from obviously basic numeracy, literacy skills. It's not about the qualifications, it's about the person you are and having the people skills, being able to be comfortable speaking to patients, speaking to your colleagues, being, a kind, compassionate person. These are the skills you need basically to be a healthcare support worker. And, coming about it, the first place I started looking was NHS jobs. So typing in NHS jobs, obviously the region where you are, healthcare support worker, you type in that and there are so many roles. Obviously, recruitment is really big nowadays. So that's where you start.
Of course. And I believe we have a clip that we can show because I do think it's really important, especially those that are interested. I think this is a great opportunity to actually explore some of the opportunities available within the NHS. So why don't we watch a clip and then I can talk to you about, I guess, how everything's been during lockdown for you.
Yeah.
We are the early start. We are the beating heart. We are sons, daughters, husbands, wives, healing, supporting, saving lives. We are emergency admissions, difficult decisions, fascination, exploration, innovation. We're pioneers. We're over 350 rewarding careers. We are you at your very best. We are the NHS. We are recruiting now. Search NHS Careers.
Wow. Do you know what? I watched this and it does actually get me quite emotional because it's these individuals who've made a difference in our lives, especially in the last year. How has lockdown been for you? Because I know that you've been studying and obviously you've been doing your role, for the last, was it 7 to 8 months?
Yeah, it's been around that. I think it was around September I started, so it's been, around that.
And how has it been? How has it been for you?
I think, I obviously try and think of the positives in this situation, in all situations that I'm in. So I think I'm one of those people who cannot sit at home. I can't do it. I don't know how other people do it, and good for those people, but I just can't. So I'm really grateful that I was able to get a role, So I graduated last summer, and obviously it was so difficult it was a time for graduates where it was so difficult for anything, and I knew that working in a hospital, that is where I was needed the most, and that is where I knew that I would be able to give the most support. So I was really grateful for this role. It got me out of the house. It gave me a reason. Even though it doesn't obviously make you forget about lockdown, because obviously you're working with COVID patients every single day. It doesn't make you forget about that, but it gives you a purpose. So I'm grateful for that.
And do you know what? I think one of the things for me, and we talk about this amongst friends and things like that, we don't know how lucky we are to have the NHS, where, there's so many, developed countries who don't have anything like this. You just forget that actually, what we've got is so special, and we don't have to, some people don't go to hospitals when they're ill because they know they have to pay for it. And to know that we've got the NHS is pretty incredible. And to be part of that journey, I mean, you must get this all the time, right? Just looking around and just seeing how great it is.
Yeah, no, I do. I literally love it. I love being part of something that is so giving. And it is sad. It is sad when you think about other countries that don't have it, but at least we can do something for everyone around us. At least we can do something. So, yeah, it is really special being part of the NHS.
We've spoken about the great things that you do, and it sounds like it is very rewarding. But are there any challenges that you face that you've had to overcome at all?
I think so. So when I first started, I was in the outpatients department, and because of the second wave, I was then moved to go work on the COVID wards. And I live in Cambridge, so it's not a very diverse area, let's say. But I came to the COVID wards, and I think it was 80% of the patients there were often ethnic minority, and that really hit deep. These are the people who are in critical conditions, and it's not like they're just ill; they're really, really ill. So it's so tough dealing with that, knowing that this could be your own family. And nowadays, I'm seeing a lot of families come in, and families only come in when something's not right. So I think that is really, really tough to handle and tough to deal with. But at the same time, you are there, you're helping. It's sad seeing that, but at least we know we're helping.
And I think you guys are doing a great job. I personally had COVID myself, and so did my family. And for me, what was great was that I was able to just call, 111 and speak to somebody who was able to advise me. But you can just hear the empathy, and the person that I was speaking to, they really had compassion, and just being so ill and knowing that someone at the end of the phone was trying to help you, it was amazing. And even the paramedics, the paramedics were very reassuring and just you know, because I think when you've got it, you feel like it's the end. Like you feel like, oh my gosh, am I going to get better? And there's a lot of anxiety and fear that comes in. And I don't know how people do it. I don't know how people actually are in these roles and doing the hours because they need to help people. So it is amazing what everyone has been doing. For you, are there any stories or any highlights for you in your last few, from your last 7 months that will always stay with you?
I think sometimes what the patients that stick with me. So there are certain patients ladies they've come in, Asian ladies have come in and they've had an emergency C-section, so they've just had a baby, and when you're going into these rooms, there's pictures of their like the most cute baby around the room, and it makes you so sad. But she got better, and she got moved back to a local hospital, which hopefully means she's getting better. And I think, you know, you see the patients in the worst states, but then seeing them get better, that is always what's going to stick with me. You know, it's not always bad. There's good stories as well, and that's what I do try and remember, because I don't want to remember the bad things. I want to remember the positive things. Yeah.
Well, listen, Urwa, thank you so much for joining me today, and you're doing a fabulous job. Your family must be so proud of you. Keep being you and being fabulous, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. No, thank you for having me.
No worries. Right. So, guys, you know, what a weekend it's been. You know, it's so great to speak to people like Urwa, who is going and supporting people that are, that are ill, who are suffering from COVID. And it's just so nice to see young people, especially, you know, after graduating, that's the path they want to take.